Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday, November the 24th. Hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. We have a fun Monday night football game to get into. The Panthers are at the Niners tonight. That'll kick off in about 20 minutes, and we'll get you out and in time for that. But in the meantime, Xavier Restrepo, we talked a little bit about him yesterday, coming off the Titans' 30-24 loss to the Seattle Seahawks, and we did make mention of the idea that, this is probably a situation where you should see his role on offense increase. But there's a couple of different things that we have to talk about relative to the case for Xavier Restrepo. And I thought Mike McCoy, not necessarily advocating publicly for Restrepo to play more on offense, but kind of making a bit of a case in a response to a question as to why they could give him an expanded role on offense and maybe maneuver some roster math in the meantime to be able to do exactly that. So you'll hear from Mike McCoy. Robert will do In Case You Missed It, and we will send you on your happy way. It will be, at least for us, the last primetime show of the week. Easton will do tomorrow, but we will be off Wednesday and Thursday. So before I forget, if I don't remember to do it at the end of the show, I hope all of you have an awesome holiday. I'll be working because we have Titans practice Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and, of course, the game on Sunday. So I'll be around town, but we will be taking a hiatus from primetime. The radio show will be off Thursday and Friday this week as well, just so you are aware of the adapted schedule at this point in time. Bork says, Buck, we've heard you wander out of the press box during games and come back with random swag. Where are you going during the games? Oh, well, I left the press box during this game to go and sit in Jelly Roll's box, because Jelly's a buddy of mine, and he was at the game, and I haven't seen him since I went over to Europe to hang out with him and the rest of the crew. What was that, Labor Day weekend? So, I snuck over onto the box, and the Jelly Roll party favors are the kind that'll get you in trouble. So I did return back in one piece, though it took me the second half of the game to kind of level out a little bit, and we were able to survive in advance. And I thought that I managed the press conference situation rather well, given the circumstance. But I was hanging out with Jelly for the start of the third quarter, and then I left the box right in time to see Chimere DK return that punt 90 yards at this point in time. Borg says, I'm box hopping, or am I hot boxing? Who's to say? Either way, we will dive into the Xavier Restrepo of it all in the meantime. So share the show around on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. If you would like to participate there, we do appreciate your participation wherever it is that you're spending your time with us. If you're hanging out on Twitter, please retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you're on Facebook Live, you can share not a public. That's in the bottom left. YouTube and Twitch, like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to do the same, maybe even text the link to a friend if you are so inclined that way, and we'll go ahead and get this thing rolling. Welcome in A to Z Sports Prime Time on this Monday night from the T-Dot Studios. The Tennessee Department of Transportation reminds you that nobody trashes Tennessee, and you can be a part of the solution to end littering in this great state at nobodytrashestennessee.com. Two Rivers Ford is the South's most trusted Ford dealer, and they are online for you at tworiversford.com. Quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service. Made possible by Simon Says Nashville, the premier men's clothing spot in Middle Tennessee. They will get you ready for the holiday season. They'll have you looking good for your family gatherings or your night out. If you're somebody who's participating in Blackout Wednesday, I will be working on Blackout Wednesday, though I did get a very tempting offer to participate. And had I decided to step out on the town on Wednesday night, I would have gone to Simon Says to make sure that I was ready for the moment. TrueMav Fitness, speaking of being ready, you can be ready and accomplish your fitness goals with your first workout free at truemavfitness.com for more details, all manner of membership options. So I think that as we talk about different things that we took away from Sunday's game, Xavier Restrepo was, I would say, not an outsized portion of the conversation, but an expected talking point. And so we were sitting speaking of the post-game press conference. So I went to the post-game press conference. The way that it works typically, and maybe if I'm in reruns and I've told you guys this before, or you're new and you haven't heard it, forgive me if I'm repeating myself from different times that we've walked through this. But the way that game days for me work, for example, is 2 hours of pregame with Titans radio or with the League Company countdown to kickoff. So me, Blaine Bishop, and Zach Lyons or Brent Doherty, 2 hours of pregame. Then into the press box where we cover the game. So I'll sit there, I'll take notes, I'll write. Occasionally I'll go out and visit friends who are hanging out at the game, like Jelly. Went and saw Jack McPherson, our friend from Bussing with the Boys. He was in attendance for the game. He went solo, brave Jack did. And yeah, you would, there are a few, I wouldn't doubt the commitment of Titans fans who are still showing up to the game, but it's crazy to go by yourself to a game like that. It was a beautiful day. And I'm always happy to see Jack, so I said I'd pay him a visit. Anyway, so go through the game, cover the game, make my notes, keep an eye on things, watch replays in the press box. Then we go down after the game is over to the underbelly of the stadium where we go into the press conference room where we wait for Mike McCoy. Mike McCoy then speaks. After Mike McCoy is done, we go into the locker room to speak with players who are there. Some people don't wait for Mike McCoy. They go straight into the locker room. A lot of the TV people do that because that's more valuable for them. But locker room open after Mike McCoy speaks. Then after the locker room is done, we come back in and Cam Ward gets to the podium. Usually the quarterback at the podium. Occasionally on big occasions, it's been Derrick Henry at the podium or Jeff Simmons, but almost every time it's Cam Ward at the podium, and that's the only podium player. So we go through the press conference, or rather we're waiting for Mike McCoy. And I said something about to the effect of, well, this Xavier Restrepo thing is going to take on a life of its own. It's going to become a big deal. And Nick Suss of the Tennessean, who you may know, he does a really, really good job covering the Titans. If you don't know Suss's work, I would highly recommend him. Suss says to me, it's only a big deal, talking about the Xavier Restrepo thing. He said it's only a big deal if the people in this room, i.e. the Titans media, who were sitting in the press box or press conference room, he said it's only a big deal if the people in this room make it a big deal. I said, that's fair. So maybe big deal is the wrong phrase, but I said it's definitely something where I think he's earned an additional opportunity or two to play on offense. But here's the complication with that. That's what we're going to get into on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, because Robert brought this up today, and it was a point that I had not considered yesterday that absolutely factors in to the math around Xavier Restrepo. So on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, your Two Rivers Ford take, as we get into the discussion tonight, which Titans wide receivers should be on the active roster? You can pick. Give me, let's say five. Actually, how many Titans wide receivers are currently on the active roster? I can pull that up so we can work through the math and just kind of talk about the spots that theoretically could be had here. So currently on the active roster are 5 wide receivers: Alec Iamaner, Chimere Dike, Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey, James Prochet. 5 wide receivers. So on your practice squad, for what it's worth, Restrepo reverts back to the practice squad, of course, because of his game day elevation status. You also have Lance McCutcheon, who was recently added to the practice squad. Somebody named Hal Presley III is also a practice squad wide receiver for the Titans. And Christian Wilkerson, who I believe was on this team. No, that's not the same player that was on this team during training camp. But those are 4 practice squad wide receivers who currently exist and 5 on the active roster. So of those 5 spots that theoretically are there, I wouldn't say that they're open because right now they're not. Right now they're currently filled. Who would be the 5 wide receivers that you would want on the Titans active roster? Bert does inform me that he was with Tennessee. Oh, they signed him in 2020. Okay, so that is a name that I recognize, but it's been a couple of years. So he's currently on the practice squad, but he is somebody who has been here in some capacity before. So 5 wide receivers on the roster. Who you picking of the 4 practice squad guys and the 5 who are currently on that active roster? It's your Two Rivers Ford take. It's presented by the South's most trusted Ford dealer. That's Two Rivers Ford. Quality American-made Ford vehicles and award-winning customer service is what they offer you. That's what they've done for over 4 decades. That's why they are the best in the business. That's why they are the South's most trusted Ford dealer. And in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Tammy Jacobs at Two Rivers Ford sent me a message today about some year-end savings that they have going on at Two Rivers Ford that I can tell you about right now. An unprecedented model year-end sale event. Get invoice pricing plus zero money down, 0% financing, and zero payments for 90 days on F-150s, F-150 Lightnings, Explorers, Escapes, and more. If you've even thought of buying a new Ford, now is absolutely the time at Two Rivers Ford. Call their non-commissioned sales team today or visit them online at tworiversford.com. Apparently, financing for 60 months does not include, or rather, financing for 60 months, Raptor trim not included. Worth noting. So the Raptor trim on the F-150 not included in that, but the standard F-150s, the various other models of F-150s are available for you to get a great price on at Two Rivers Ford in Mount Juliet. All right, so 5 wide receivers. Who are you picking to be on the active roster at this point in time? So currently, as I mentioned, those spots are occupied by the following: Alec Iamaner, Chimere Dike, Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey, James Prochet. Robert Hames, James Prochet. So Robert would advocate that Prochet be cut, brought back on the practice squad maybe, and that Restrepo would be elevated in his spot. Many of you would forsake Mason Kinsey's roster spot for Xavier Restrepo, but I would point out to you that that Mason Kinsey, while you may not think it's the most important thing in the world, Mason Kinsey is a versatile special teams player that occupies a lot of roles on special teams that one individual player might not otherwise be able to fill. Now, because Alec Iamaner did not play in this last game, they were able to elevate Restrepo. Restrepo didn't have to play a bunch of special teams to be on the game day roster because Alec was out. So they left basically Mason Kinsey to play special teams and Xavier Restrepo to primarily play on offense. Assuming that Alec Iamaner comes back from his hamstring injury, if not this week, in the next couple of weeks, that makes the decision pretty easy. You're not going to forsake Alec Iamaner for Xavier Restrepo, but you're also not going to just punt on special teams value in Mason Kinsey for a guy whose almost only role for your team would be on offense, Restrepo, if he plays. So it does become a bit convoluted there. Now, Prochet is the better wide receiver. I would say that he has less special teams versatility. So my 5 would probably be Alec Iamaner, Chimere Dike, Van Jefferson, Mason Kinsey, and Xavier Restrepo. I would probably waive Prochet in that spot, see if I could get him back on the practice squad and move forward that way. Now, Mike McCoy was asked about the connection between Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo, and I asked him a follow-up as well about the impromptu, the ad-lib stuff that they go through that I thought he was really good on. You'll hear from Mike McCoy here in just a second, right after I remind you that the Primetime program is made possible by the wonderful people at TDOT. Nobody Trashes Tennessee. The Tennessee Department of Transportation reminds you to be a part of the solution to end littering. TDOT has had this initiative for many, many years, and they have had great success with it, and they want you to continue the proud tradition of cleaning up litter in this great state. Find volunteer opportunities or start your own volunteer cleanup opportunities at NobodyTrashesTennessee.com. All right, Mike McCoy on Sunday talking about Cam Ward and Xavier Restrepo.
Was, or I can't, I shouldn't say that that way, but I said, how many balls is he going to catch? And, he made his comment, and I'm like, okay. Wish every receiver caught that many. But, I think I'll watch the tape and really look at it and see. I know there's a couple ad-libs in there. But just, I'd say this. All those guys, Strep, Pro, and Mason, to where they were at the beginning of the season, and you see how hard they worked every single day to help our defense. And then when they would fill in offensively, because they never knew, and obviously Mace and Pro had been up before, this and that, but it's just, that's what this game is all about, making the most of your opportunities, especially a young player like him, that he got an opportunity to finally dress today and goes out there, makes some plays, and it's just, you feel, that's what it's, I'm so happy for those guys because you get rewarded for all the hard work, and that doesn't always happen in this business. You depend on what team you're on and the injuries and all those things come into play, and then see some of the linemen come in today. We had 2 guys go down, and next thing you know, here comes 2 other guys that step up, and that's the way it's been the last couple of weeks, and we just keep going up and down the field at certain times, and it's just That's the reward, and that's what I keep telling you guys. I love this football team. I love the way they work. They're unselfish. They love playing together, but it's about winning, and we got to find a way to make more plays to win one of these games.
To your point about, just a quick follow, if I could, the ad-lib stuff, there's clearly something with Cam and Restrepo there. Can that be a benefit to you guys moving forward, given that those situations will happen?
They probably have something in their helmets communicating with each other, talking back and forth. I think it's just, Cam's probably thrown more balls to him than anybody else. So I think that if you looked at the sideline a couple times, I looked back there one time and it was like, Strep was there, like right in his ear, sitting on the corner of the bench and just talking to him. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. But that's the relationship they have, and they've had a lot of success playing together. I think it's just great to see them playing at this level together. Just pleased with the two of them and the way they work. And really, what you love about them too is the love for the game. I mean, Strep really, he loves the game of football, and you guys deal with him all the time. But just the way he approaches it, he's unselfish, and he was told what he needed to do to kind of continue his development with the kicking game and things like that. And once we told him that, he was in there, living in there to kind of figure a way, because he has a burning desire to get out there like he did today.
So that's Mike McCoy talking about Xavier Restrepo, Cam Ward, the value of it, and kind of where they're at. Ryan Field says this is a laughable conversation we are having. This is laughable, rather. We are having this conversation. Yay, Restrepo gets a participation trophy. Listen, I don't disagree. I mean, but brother, they're 1-10. The games don't matter. Your season, I mean, really, in like the consequence of competitive playoff discussion. No, you're not playing for a postseason spot. Your fan base got the best possible result. If you're a Titans fan, you got the best possible result on Sunday, which is that you lost, which keeps you on track for the number 1 overall pick, and that Cam Ward played a good game. Like, Cam Ward arguably played his best game. That's where he's at. Somebody on YouTube says 2 catches means you hung the moon around here. I mean, you don't have a single player with more than 2 touchdowns on the season. Chimere Dike has 2 touchdowns. Alec Ironmaner is your leading touchdown, your leading receiver in terms of touchdowns. He has 2. He hasn't had one since week 3. So I get that some of these things are easy to be dismissive. I myself get very tired of talking about things that are largely meaningless for a team that is, the best thing that you can say about them is, we'll get them next year, right? But I can't just punt on the coverage of the team that I'm tasked with covering, because maybe Xavier Restrepo ends up giving Cam Ward something. I thought that they looked fine together. I thought that Cam Ward, I don't think that Cam Ward played his best game because Xavier Restrepo was out on the field. But I do think that Cam Ward's going to be running for his life in a great many of these games. And he's got 6 games left that he's got to play. So if he can make more plays and have more success on these off-script plays with Xavier Restrepo on the field as opposed to Mason Kinsey in some form or fashion, then yeah, that's good for the development and the progress of the young quarterback. And if he wins an extra game, I would like to see him win games. I know that you don't want him to win games. You just want him to play well in close losses. But I think I think that there is a rot that sets in. If they have the worst Titans season of all time, the worst Titans era season of all time, which means that they would win 1 game, and that Arizona game would be the only game that they win. They would then be the worst team by record in the Titans era of Titans football. You don't think that would have some wear on Cam Ward or Jeffrey Simmons or all these other things? Like, there is only so much to be done here. And if there are little things that can help him, specifically Cam Ward, in the margins that can help him at least in the immediate, maybe not long term. Well, yeah, I can't do long term yet because I'm here right now. I've got 6 more weeks of Titans football to talk about, to cover, and then we can get into free agency and coaching searches and all these different things. But right now, like, I'm still in the middle of covering a season, and I can't just say, because I've got, 4 hours a week of prime time, 15 hours a week of the talk show, 1 podcast a week with Cosell, and 2 more hours a week of Titans pregame to do. I can't just say, well, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about a draft pick. I can't do that for 6 more weeks. You know what I'm saying? So there's I get it. It is laughable that they are so bad that this is a pertinent conversation, but they are that bad. They are the worst team in football. Maybe they're not playing like it of late. They have played much closer games, but I also I don't know. I'm not really sure what you want me to do here. You know what I'm saying? I can't just completely forsake conversation around the rest of the season. We've just got too much season left for that to be viable, if that makes any sense. MB says, sure, you're stuck covering a 1-10 team. The topics on a losing team will just be different, more focused on the future. Yeah, I absolutely acknowledge that. Xavier Restrepo helping Cam Ward in the immediate so that Cam Ward can be better in the future is a version of that. You know what I'm saying? That's the direction that I'm at least looking at it from my perspective. Xavier Restrepo could very well not be here next year and all of this not matter, but he's here right now and he helped Cam make a couple of plays. And if he can help him make a few more en route to better success, okay, then that's kind of where we're at right now. Okay, so it's probably spun my wheels too much on that. I think there are other things that, we can look to, and I don't know how much you guys want to get into Kevin Winston or Gunnar Helm or all this different stuff. Guys that matter. I thought the offensive line played pretty well against Seattle, a good defense on Seattle. That's something that's easy to rip when they're bad or easy to knock when Cam Ward, when you just look at his box score sacks, for example, he got sacked 4 times and you say, oh, the offensive line sucks. In reality, Dan Moore and J.C. Latham actually held up pretty well. And I was tough on J.C. Latham last week for reasons that I think are fair and explained many times. And, I think that the best thing that you can say about the circumstances that Cam Ward gave you a baseline that he can hang in with a tough NFL team and that he needs more help. But yeah, all of these things are things that we know. So Brian on YouTube, or rather Facebook, says no dubs, no wins. He means we need the number 1 pick. Too many teams will be shopping for a quarterback in this upcoming draft. Trade it. We need ammo. Fill these holes with a top 50 or with top 50 draft picks. Well, listen, Brian, this is the point that I made today on the radio show. And yeah, that theoretically, that's the best path forward. That's the thing that makes the most sense. And you are right. More often than not, that's how you correct the situation. But you have now had 4 consecutive losing seasons, 2 under Mike Vrabel, 2 under Callahan/McCoy. You've sucked for a long time now, and you've had high draft picks for a long time now, and you're still sucking. So it doesn't mean that the next time around won't be different. And the difference being this time around, theoretically, you have a quarterback that would solve at least one big question as you try to advance this thing forward. But you've 4 consecutive losing seasons with double-digit losses, and you're not any better. In fact, you are progressively getting worse. So your logic holds up to an extent, but it is not a guaranteed fix. And I need people to remember that. Like, you can still screw this up. You have screwed this up many times. And you can tell yourself every time, like a battered ex, that this time will be different. And maybe he won't hit me this time around or, yell at me or something like that. But you're displaying the behavior of somebody who has been domestically abused by their football team. Just saying, no, next time it'll be different. When I go back this time, they'll change. Okay, if you say so, we'll see. But yeah, they can get it right this time. I reserve the right to be proven wrong on them getting it right this time around. But for the last 4 years, they've gotten it wrong. And we'll see what happens in the future. All right. We will welcome Robert Walsh in for, real quick, who you got, Panthers or Niners, before this game kicks off? Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. In the comment section is where you can participate there. Niners are on a roll. They're winning without any players whatsoever. Kyle Shanahan should be the coach of the year. The Panthers have a winning record. Bryce Young is coming off one of his best performances of his career, if not his best performance of his career. And I'm fascinated to see what this game looks like at San Fran. It's one of the better Monday night matchups we've had all season long. I would probably take the Niners. I would take Carolina to cover. I don't think they're a touchdown worse. Maybe the travel is something that's being accounted for here, but a night game that doesn't have quite that effect. I would take the Panthers to cover if I was betting with your money, because I can't bet on the NFL with my money. But Panthers to cover, Niners money line, I think that makes the most sense at this point in time. I'm just hoping for a competitive game. And the defense for Carolina, is something that should travel. We'll see if it holds up against a really, really well-schemed offense from Kyle Shanahan, despite having no players whatsoever at this point. All right, Robert, what do you got for in case you missed it? Well, actually, no, get off my screen so I can tell people about TrueMad Fitness in the Gulch. TrueMadFitness.com for your first workout free as a Middle Tennessee resident. Holiday season is upon us. Important to continue your workout routine in some form or fashion so you can at least mitigate some of the great food that you will be having over the course of the next few weeks and months. TrueMadFitness.com, where your first workout is free. Okay, Robert.
All right, couple of things. At least, I don't know how much you talked about Restrepo. It seemed like a lot, so I started tuning out and watching my soaps. But the benefit for playing Xavier Restrepo over Mason Kinsey and over James Prochet, in my eyes, are both of the other two players' developmental runway with the Titans is over. Mm-hmm. Prochet is a free agent. Mason is a UDFA who he's the glitter of the NFL. You cannot get rid of that guy. Like, if you get glitter on you, it's stuck. Like that Mason Kinsey is the glitter.
2020. He's been here since 2020.
Terrible year. So it would be at least for the developmental runway of Xavier Restrepo, who they do have team control over without expending any more money. That would make sense to me, even if he has the limitations that we've already discussed. Another fun fact for you with Monday Night Football before we get in, the 49ers have not lost or won 2 games in a row since the week 4 of the NFL season. They started off with 3 wins. Well, technically week 3. And then win-loss. And what did they do last week? They beat the dog shit out of the Cardinals. So if you are looking at the signs, if you're looking at the trends, as Jersey Jerry says, you would be saying, well, the Panthers are going to keep that trend going, and the Panthers would beat the 49ers tonight to claim sole proprietorship of the number 1 spot in the NFC. Football is batshit crazy this year.
It is crazy.
That's a lot of fun. But something that's also, I think, lacking in football is rivalries. What, in your opinion, what is the best rivalry in professional football?
Oh, easy. Ravens Steelers.
A lot of people would say that. And as someone who's in that rivalry, I would say it's lost some of its luster. Like the pieces that it meant something to, the Troy Polamalu's, the Ray Lewis's, guys like
Roethlisberger.
Yeah, guys like that. Like, I think guys now are like, it's like hard times create hard men create good times, good men, or good times create soft men. Like, all of those guys are gone. So now it's just story.
Ravens, right? I mean, I think that it's had moments where it's kind of like re-sparked a couple of years ago, but it's not Ray Lewis and Eddie George anymore.
I think the new best rivalry in the NFL is going to become Cowboys-Eagles. If the Cowboys can get this right, the Eagles fan base is already on 10, on aggravation, or on ready to mess with someone at the drop of a hat. You don't have to worry about getting buck out of them. Dallas has the largest fan base in the NFL. You can call them Walmart fans. You could call them bandwagoners, but they've been bandwagoning a pretty bad team. So yeah. I will call them real fans nonetheless. Did you see the video of what was happening in Philadelphia elementary schools ahead of their Sunday night game? I'll play it for the audience because they have not.
I don't want to hear that. Oh, there we go. Oh, gosh.
He's like, I ain't got no problem. Look at his hair. Wham! Wham! Wham!
That guy's going after Dak.
Oh, big fella.
Oh, my gosh.
And this is the teacher. This is the guy.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God.
They're ripping the pictures off. This is my favorite part. They get his picture off, and then the news lady steps on his face. Step on George Pickens. He jumps in and stomps on it. Lady with the big chain. She giving CD to 1-2. Kids are ripping the paper off. They don't give a shit. And then what happens? All of these kids came in. They're like, oh, I can't wait to watch Cowboys Eagles this weekend. Yeah. And they get to learn the fact that every sports fan knows all too well. This shit ain't sweet. This shit is not fun. Even when it's fun, you're worried it's about to end. This shit is not fun, kids. The best mental health decision you could possibly make was learning how to play chess. Pick an instrument. They'll never break your heart. It'll be because you're not good enough. Don't ever pick or if you're going to do something, like Ronaldo, like the best players. Don't like a team. You're going to be depressed your whole life, kid. Okay, so what did the Cowboys social media team do to capitalize off this. So you haven't seen this yet?
No, I haven't seen
this. Is the best. This is the best cockback in Donkey Kong. It's right here waiting on you. And Dallas is like, wham! They didn't give a shit about that, but I did. The only thing that would have made that better, is if they put those kids' faces on those. Put those kids' faces on them and let them stomp on them. Let George Pickens hit the. Let them do that shit.
The sexy Dexy dance, you know.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm rubbing my belly for that. You can't see. That your headset is your favorite. No, I'm just broke as hell. It's hanging on. Look at that. That's my patience. That's my patience right there. That's how much I got. Lord, somebody out there. Somebody want to bless me with some headsets, Lord.
I told you if you stopped begging, I would get you some for Christmas.
Look at that. That's exposed wire. That shit could probably shock the hell out of me.
God, I hope that happens live. When it finally snaps, I hope you get electrocuted on the air.
Ryan says Ravens are tied with the Eagles for the worst fan base. I hate that you feel that way, but I don't even think it's even astronomically close. You can go to a game in Baltimore and not get.
You cannot be an opposing. You can't. If it's Eagles, Cowboys, and you walk in there in a Titans jersey, unrelated, just you're in the city of Philadelphia, you're going to an NFL game, your team's playing that day, they will beat your ass. Ryan, that speaks, that either says to me that one, you've never been to a game at either of these places. Two, you've not actually been exposed to those fan bases. I promise you, as somebody who has done games in both cities, who has seen both fan bases up close and personal, and who is very grateful to have 3 foot of glass separating him and the unwashed masses in Philadelphia. I was in Baltimore when the Ravens lost to the Titans in the AFC divisional round, where that fan base was shocked. They didn't get violent. Well, they did start beating up one another. There were Raven fan on.
Oh, yeah, they'll do that. They'll do that. I don't know why they'd be fighting each other.
Philadelphia fans will follow you out of the stadium. They will harass you on the way in. They will beat your ass when you're in there. They will follow you on the way out, and they will make your life a living hell. You, sir, clearly don't know anything about NFL fan bases.
I would literally
never. Is a class among their own.
I would literally never, ever, ever go to a game there. I don't give a shit.
No.
I'm terrified of those people because, like, you're gonna. If they challenge you as a man and you're half drunk, like you would engage in an altercation, and then you get stomped out by 100 Philly fans and their closest friends, like no way.
They turned around and gave your owner double birds and said, "Thank you, you dumb bleep, for AJ Brown." They're not scared of anybody.
Maybe the Ravens are like second.
No,
who do I think the worst fans are? Besides,
Raiders.
If we took the Eagles, Raiders
like
are
Oakland Raiders. Vegas,
yes, Vegas. On the road they're fine, but I mean the OG Raider fans for sure.
I would say in terms of like fan violence, Niners are up there too.
I think Chiefs fans are just annoying. Like
Chiefs fans are whatever. Like Chiefs fans are there. They're there.
They may rob a bank, but
it's like a fad. It's not like a real thing. Like there are diehard Chiefs fans. But there are, it's not. Somebody said Buffalo. No, Buffalo is the greatest fan base in America.
I think they're just whiny on Twitter. Like I mean, every fan base, if you see enough of it, like, I don't know. If anybody talks shit about my team, I'm like, okay, I'm over this now. But like, I just feel like everybody that's not what you're a fan of is going to be whiny to you. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like Ravens fans whine. I feel like everybody whines a lot. None of us know how this shit works.
If we're talking about worse fan bases, and I'm sure there will be no love lost between me and Titans fans, but Titans fans are incredibly whiny. I mean, like as far as like, but they're so small. They're easy to. It's little brother, right? You just put your hand on their forehead and they run at you a couple of times, and eventually they get tired. But they may send you a couple of nasty tweets. Like just in terms of whiny. Titans fans.
I mean, but I guess it depends how you look at it. I think the Titans have a reason to whine. I don't think like Ravens, Bills, Chiefs, any like Chiefs fans bitching about their injury report going into Thursday. Why we had to play Sunday and Thanksgiving? Like, shut up, dude.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, you're being a big whiny baby. Or as
Yeah.
my daddy would say, titty baby. Can you still say titty baby? Or is that out?
I don't know.
Being a
you
titty.
did.
I'll say it again. You being a titty. Quit being a titty baby. All of you out there. All right, that's all I got.
All right, go fix your headphones, titty baby.
All right, there ain't no way to fix this. Look, it's
That's going to do it for us tonight on the Primetime Show. Have a lovely Thanksgiving for all of you who will be getting to host Thanksgiving, or if you're going to Thanksgiving, hope you have safe travels if you're going somewhere for the holidays. Radio show will be on tomorrow and Wednesday, but this will be our last Primetime Show of the week. We'll be back. We'll be back on Sunday night after the Jags game to recap it all after the fact. We will see you tomorrow morning. We'll do a full show tomorrow morning. We were preempted today for Vol Network coverage of Tennessee basketball playing Rutgers. But tomorrow, the full 3 hours with Jason Fitz, with Nate Washington, Robert Lucas, and me. And we look forward to seeing you there.